Hey everybody, hi, this is Dan Stolbarger. Welcome to this week's Middle East Update. And it's March 20th, and so we're going to look back upon the events that have transpired in literally up to the minute where we're at right now. So we always start with our news bites, but as a reminder, the PDF PowerPoint behind me without my head is available on the YouTube channel. Just click the link and you'll have it. And usually there's more on the PDF PowerPoint than there is time that we have for the YouTube. So make sure you grab that. So our news bites, latest poll. No big surprise here because we're sensing it even in our country here, that there's a whatever they call it, there's such a hatred for Trump, especially among the Democrats, that it doesn't surprise that just 13% of Democrats have a positive view of not just what's going on, but unfortunately of Israel. And then President Trump is speaking about the current observations or operations in Iran and facts. And this is what's hard about thinking that even in our country that the Democrats are more, it's almost like they're on the sidelines rooting for the other team in a sense. But did you know that, Trump's basically saying that there were 41,000 civilians that were murdered. And kind of right up to date to just yesterday, we have the Iranian regime, hanging the 19-year-old wrestler, public hanging. 41,000 civilians murdered. Again, it being our news bites, we sort of jump all over the place. The IDF is striking in Lebanon, moving forces on the ground, boots on the ground into Lebanon. They struck the Litani River, and they're taking out bridges. Again, they're making it clear that from about 17 miles from the border of Israel, that takes us north to the Litani River. Israel saying this is going to become a DMZ. This is no man's land. If you're living in this area, get north of the Litani. And in fact, there's another river that's, lack of the ability to remember or pronunciate, but I know it starts with a Z, and it's another 20 miles even north of the Litani that Israel's basically saying, if you want to be safe, you better even get north of that river. And then, no big surprise, at least it's no big surprise to me, that Russia is now attempting to smuggle weapons to Iran via the Caspian Sea, whether it's rockets or drones or whatever. And so just the other day, Israel actually struck the northeastern side of Iran on the Caspian Sea, and again, taking out the ability to transfer weapons from Russia to Iran. And then, Israel is being hit. And they just recently got hit pretty hard in Haifa, the refineries there, but again, no casualties reported, and Israel's quick to say, up and running. Trump goes on to say that in Iran, we're seeing all sorts of military defections at this time on all levels. And so it is, as you know, an absolute mess as far as what's going on. And in times of war, we're always dealing with disinformation, who to believe, what's true, what's not true. So let's go into our articles for this week. We do our best, and with different sources from Israel. This is the latest assessment that I kind of pulled together, whether it was from Amir or Amit, or other sources, JNS. But what remains of Iran's proxies, that sort of ring of fire that Soleimani was attempting, and not just attempted, created. So what's the remains? What's it looking like? Well, at Hamas, we're looking at Hamas right now, cannot or will not dare to launch anything. We look at the Houthis, and to this moment, to this time, they have not dared to launch anything over the last 18 days. We look at the militias in Iraq, and they barely register in Israel. The militias in Syria, effectively gone. And then Hezbollah, threat. But basically, Hezbollah has now been reduced to about 20% of their capabilities. And again, with boots on the ground and the focus being on Hezbollah, not how much longer they can survive this, I'm not sure. And the truth is that Iran right now no longer stands as a regional power. Again, assessment, summaries. Summaries over the past 36 hours. One of the major leaders, some would say even above the Ayatollah, this Ali Lajani, eliminated. The commander of the Basiel forces, the elite forces, eliminated. Iran's Minister of Intelligence, eliminated. Iran's energy facility was struck, the gas fields. Iran is threatening at this point in time, because they got hit, to attack other energy infrastructures in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the Emirates. In a sense, they are turning on, you would think at best, neutral, not necessarily cozying up to them, but once again, they're picking the wrong battles here. Israel's destroying all the bridges on the Litani right now. Israel has begun enforcing evacuations. As I said, that river is actually called the Zarani River. Get above that. There's noticeable ground advancements that are taking place. We're reading about possibilities of boots on the ground from the U.S. Special forces on their way. And so there's tensions, obviously, that are all around. There's tensions between the U.S. and NATO and Europe. And again, I got a feeling there's even more surprises on the way. We're all praying that this war would end soon, but the bottom line, it needs to be finished the right way. Of course, an article here that simply says, when in doubt, blame the Jews. And so worldwide shockwaves are hitting regarding the markets, the price of gas, energy, et cetera, et cetera. And so the world is going to need someone to blame, so why not blame the Jews? There's no doubt that Israel's being painted as the villain responsible for this war. Obviously, genocide, humanitarian crisis that's inflicting, the damage it's doing to our way of life, the rest of the world. Jewish-hating influencers like Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly, Joe Grogan, all of them. Hey, when in doubt, blame the Jews. I just read that, of course, you know that Charlie Kirk's assassination. Let's just blame the Jews. Iron Beam, thought I'd give you a visual on this. A couple days ago, the Iron Beam was operational for the first time, taking out drones, and it's pennies on the dollars versus what this new weapon can do versus Iron Dome. A military source confirmed that the system has already been deployed, it's operational, and it's began active interceptions, the Iron Beam. And then what we all want to know, will the war end soon? And again, we hear little snippets back and forth from both Trump and Netanyahu, but the bottom line, what's being presented is that the war will end most likely within weeks, but the bottom line here is it will be on the terms that are acceptable to the U.S. and Israel. Again, the article says, according to a U.S. source, the deal will be made either with whomever survives, that's a problem, right, from the current Iranian regime. And again, the U.S. is wanting to make sure that they deal with the nuclear issue, they deal with degrading missile launch capabilities, and taking out as many as the leaders that they possibly can. So again, I'm looking at probably a couple weeks. Now, Bibi's update, Israel's never been stronger and Iran's never been weaker. He told a press conference in Jerusalem just yesterday that on the 20th day of the war, we're winning. Iran's being decimated. Iran's missile and drone arsenal is being massively degraded and is ultimately being completely destroyed. Hundreds of their launchers have been destroyed. The stockpiles of missiles are being hit hard, and the industries that produce them, that's the target today, that are being taken out. So I think that's very important as well. And then, of course, we have the whole Strait of Hormuz. It's almost like the last-ditch effort of Iran to somehow preserve their ability to survive. And so, Trump's gone on record to say, we don't need it, but Europe does. France, UK, Japan, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Canada, you guys are dependent upon it, and you're sitting on the sidelines. So just yesterday, I read that the U.S. is kicking off what expects to be a multi-operational to open the Strait of Hormuz. And then again, in a joint statement released last night, no big surprise with the pressure that's put upon them, the UK, France, Japan, Germany, Italy, Netherlands, Canada, they say they're now going to back the American effort to restore freedom of movement. And needless to say, Trump's not impressed. I mean, you read his comments and he says, basically, the war's over. We've done it all. And now you want to come? You want to wave your victory flag? Again, I think it's important that they do join, but again, not too many are impressed with the late Johnny-come-latelys to this. Again, and as we know, when a wounded animal is backed into the corner, it's when they're most dangerous. We've talked about the doomsday scenario where Iran's basically saying, we're going to use whatever we got. We're never going to say die here. We're going to go out in a blaze of glory. And so with that, there are constant alerts that are going on. We're asking friends to continue to pray for civilians, friends of ours in Israel, innocent Iranians. But there's, take a look at this slide. The old city, we know the Sephardic house. Many of our folks have stayed there before in the Jerusalem corner. Can you look at this? They just got hit. The outside of the hotel, the parking lot. And look how close this is to the Temple Mount, the Golden Dome that you can see there, the Western Wall. Can you imagine? So that's our report for this week. Again, we try to hold off as long as we can because the information just keeps coming. And so as we now head into Shabbat, we'll pick it up again beginning next week. So I hope you join us. But just that reminder, please, please, please be verbal in your prayers for Israel. Don't just pray in silence. Tell your friends, your home groups, your church, or whatever. We need to stand and pray today. We need to pray for protection and once again, that this war could be over. And I'd like to believe this is possible, but because I know the hatred of Islam to Judeo-Christians, to Israel and America, but we continue to pray that this war could be over once and for all. So with that, God bless you and Shabbat Shalom.